In this video, I'm making a tier list of the 6-star kernel operators. These are the year 1 operators that were separated from the standard banner into their own kernel banner. I don't advise you to pull these banners, but instead use your yellow certificates to buy them from the shop. And at the end of the video, I will give some operators a yellow star if they are beginner friendly, or a blue star if you shouldn't get them yet if you are a new player, either because they are hard to use or because they need Elite 2 to be useful. This list will consist of 3 tiers: S for meta operators, I for strong operators, and B for operators that are underwhelming or very niche. Also, one thing I want to do this time is set up a tier list where the viewers can participate. If you are watching this video before 3 days have passed, you can click the link in the description and vote on what the tier list should look like. After the 3-day period has ended, I will post a community post or a short video discussing the difference between my tier list and the result of the collective tier list you guys made. Without further ado, let's start with the caster archetype. Eyjafjalla definitely on the top 3 of this list. While she is a single target caster, she can deal insane damage to multiple enemies. Her second skill provides her with consistent multi-target damage on a low cooldown and holding up to 3 charges. Just note it is not a real multi-target but a splash of half of the damage to nearby enemies. Her third skill is a high burst multi-target of up to 6 enemies. It can be a perfect hella drop thanks to her talent giving her SP on deployment, so I will put her in the S tier. Ifrit, she is the best AoE caster in terms of consistent damage. Her second skill is like Eyjafjalla's second skill but better, and her talents are great as well. Her first talent reduces the art resistance of enemies within her range by 40%, and her second talent restores 2 extra SP every 6 seconds. This talent helps her second skill charge faster and be more consistent. However, she has some drawbacks. Her range makes her awkward to place in most stages, and her DP cost of 34 at E2 is very high. That being said, she goes to the AE tier. Mostima, straight up she is mid. Her kit revolves around crowd control and slowing enemies, but her third and main skill takes too long to charge and her first talent doesn't really help with that. The slow is nice, especially with her module. It can be used on high difficulty content, but it is very niche and doesn't really make up for her abysmal damage and high cooldown on her third skill. She goes to the B tier. Ceobe, she is an excellent single target caster with mixed damage, physical damage with her third skill, and art damage with her talent. Her second skill is also very strong with the high attack speed and prioritizing enemies with the highest defense, which are the reasons you bring her to battles. But she gets outclassed by Eyjafjalla in burst and multi-target damage. There are situations where you want her over Eyjafjalla, for example focusing on one enemy when there are multiple targets, something Eyjafjalla's skill 3 can't do. Her spot is S on this tier list, but I don't recommend her over Eyjafjalla. Next is Nightingale. She is a nightmare to enemies who deal art damage. Her first talent gives all allies in the range plus 15 art resistance. This is strong, especially for operators who don't have any art resistance. Her second skill gives a barrier that can absorb art damage on a low cooldown with 3 charges. Her third skill expands her range and further increases the art resistance of her allies. Also, one of her biggest strengths is her summoned phantoms. She can summon 2 very tanky phantoms with a taunt ability. With that being said, she gets an A. She might deserve to be in the S tier, but medics are not a priority. Shining, a single target medic that focuses on increasing the defense for her allies. Unfortunately, the defense buff is a little underwhelming and you would rather an operator with better heal or other buffs, because outside her defense gimmick, she doesn't offer much else. That doesn't mean she is bad, but she gets outclassed by Warfarin, who is a 5-star operator, and you can do just fine with Suzuran if you don't have either of them. In conclusion, she isn't bad, but she doesn't have an impact on the battlefield either, so she gets a B from me. Saria. Saria is hands down the best healing defender we have in the end server. Her first talent makes her stack more attack and defense stat the more time passes when she is deployed, up to plus 35% attack and plus 30% defense when equipped with her second module. With her second talent, she restores 1 SP each time she heals an ally. It becomes 2 SP with her first module. Her first skill is a great single target healing on a low cooldown and can hold 3 charges. Her second skill heals all allies within range with just a 7-second cooldown. Her third skill has a long cooldown of 80 seconds. However, it is great support in slowing enemies and making them tremendously weaker to art damage. Overall, a great healer and support. She goes to the S tier. Hoshiguma, a solid defender operator with high defense and HP. There isn't much to say about her skills. They might look basic, but they are strong. She excels at her defending role and offers some DPS. She goes to the S tier. Schwarz. Schwarz is a solid close-range sniper. Her third skill is very strong against bosses and elite enemies, but it does have an awkward attack range. Her module reduces her redeployment time, making her a versatile operator who can move easily around the stage. However, she has somewhat of a high DP cost for her redeployment to be effective. With that being said, Schwarz goes to the A tier. Exusiai. Exusiai is what I imagine when someone says a marksman sniper. While her kit may look simple, it dishes so much burst damage with her third skill, and it is a great target for attack buffs. The auto activation of this skill might be annoying, but the high damage and the low DP and SP cost make up for it. Overall, an S tier operator. Rosa, a besieger sniper that prioritizes attacking heavy enemies and melting them down if they have a 3 weight or higher thanks to her module. Her third skill offers good damage and crowd control at a relatively low SP cost. She is not the operator that you bring to every stage, but nonetheless, she goes to the A tier. Ook is a weird operator. He attacks his allies to buff them, and if not used correctly, he can kill them. I don't recommend new players to get him, but if you know what you are doing, he is a great buffer. He is a solid A. Phantom can summon a clone with the same skill as him. His second skill is used for damage while his third skill has crowd control. I believe there must be at least one damage dealing fast redeploy operator in every account. If you are satisfied with red or already have Texas or Yato altar, you can skip him, but he has the clone advantage of being in 2 places at the same time, and his damage is actually decent. With that being said, he goes to the A tier. Bagpipe, a great DPS charger vanguard. She has a support talent that grants all vanguards plus 6 initial SP just by being in the squad. Her second skill does a lot of consistent burst damage thanks to the low cooldown and charges. With this, you won't have to worry about her lane holding capabilities at the beginning of the stage with only 1 block, as she won't get overwhelmed easily by enemies if she just defeats them before they pile. Her third skill is perfect for Hellagur. She can now block 2 enemies, greatly increase attack and defense, and attacks hit 3 times in a row. And because this skill does so much damage, its value doesn't drop so much against stronger enemies that appear later in the stage. And thanks to her trait, she will refund her DP cost when retreated. A great vanguard that does too much damage for her archetype. She goes to the S tier. Siege. She used to be a mediocre vanguard but got saved by her second module. Her second skill does a lot of burst damage to all nearby enemies while also generating 3 DP. The 10 SP cost is a lot for this skill, but this got solved by her module improving her talent from Siege gaining 1 SP to gaining 3 SP when an enemy in the 4 surrounding tiles is killed. This talent works perfectly with her second skill as it charges faster while having the same area of effect. Overall, she does a lot of damage while generating a good amount of DP, though you need to keep in mind that her DP generation is tied to killing enemies when using her second skill, and don't even think of building her without her module at level 3. With that being said, she goes to the B tier. Suzuran. Suzuran is the best Dispel binder we currently have. Her first talent increases the SP recovery rate of all supporters by plus 0.4 per second. This helps a lot with her high SP cost skills and great support to other support operators. Her second talent applies 20% fragile on slowed enemies. This means they will take 20% more damage whether it is physical or art damage. Her second skill gives her 60% attack, and she can hit up to 3 enemies with unlimited duration. This skill is mostly used for annihilation as it takes quite a bit to charge. Her third skill expands her range and heals her allies for 20% of her attack every second. It also amplifies her fragile effect from talent by 2 times, and her second module can further improve it. She is an amazing support for all kinds of content, so naturally, she goes to the S tier. Angelina. Her first talent gives plus 7 attack speed to all allies, and her second talent gives regeneration healing to all her allies when her skill is not activated. Especially useful for enmity operators who cannot be healed normally like Mudrock and La Pluma. Her second skill is focused on slowing one target with super low attack interval, while her third skill can target up to 5 enemies with expanded range and reduce the weight of all enemies on the battlefield by 1. Overall, Angelina does her job well, but she needs a lot of resources and investment in the module and masteries to get online, and she can't use normal attacks while her second and third skills are inactive. With that being said, she goes to the A tier. Magallan. She summons drones that turn invisible for 20 seconds after deployment. Depending on the skill you choose, her drone can slow enemies, deal single target arts damage, or AoE physical damage. Overall, she is a versatile operator but a bit tricky to use. Her summons take deployment slots. The melee ones can't block enemies and the ranged ones lack damage. She goes to the B tier. Skadi. Like Angelina, Skadi also needs a lot of investment in the level 3 module. Her first module gives all Abyssal Hunter operators plus 22% attack and plus 20% max HP when she is in the squad, and when defeated, does not retreat and recovers all HP instead. However, her max HP is reduced by 60% and attack speed increased by 30%. The Abyssal Hunter squad is broken, and if you have them built you need to go for this module. And even outside of the Abyssal Hunter squad, this module adds a lot to her survivability with a good attack buff. Her second module reduces her redeployment time by 30 seconds, and it pairs well with her passive second skill. Outside the Abyssal Hunter niche, her kit is pretty outdated and she struggles to find her place outside of boss killing where there are better operators for this job. If you are willing to get and build the Abyssal Hunters, she is S tier, if not she goes to the B tier. SilverAsh. His first talent buffs his attack and reduces redeployment time for all allies. His second talent reveals invisible enemies. They are fairly common and they are annoying to deal with. His third skill is a delete button. It expands his range and can attack up to 6 enemies simultaneously. It has a long cooldown but a good initial SP so you can use him as a hella drop. It also reduces his defense, but with good positioning, it won't be a problem. Overall, he is a solid S tier operator. Chen. With her first module on level 3, Chen restores 1 SP to all deployed allies that have an attack recovery or defense recovery skill. Chen recovers 1 additional SP to herself. This fixes her third skill big SP cost. It is also a great support for other operators that benefit from it, since these types of skills need this kind of support or they will be stage dependent. Her third skill launches 10 slashes in a row to the closest enemy. If the enemy is defeated, she jumps to the next one until she uses all her slashes or all the enemies are defeated, and stuns the target on the last hit for 4 seconds. What is also great about this skill is the invincibility frames she gets during it. In conclusion, she is a nuke button with a little support for operators with attack recovery and defense recovery skills. She goes to the A tier. Hellagur. Unlike other Musha guards, Hellagur can decently lane hold the paths with elite enemies. His second talent recovers his HP when not blocking an enemy, which means he won't suffer from ranged attacks as much as other enmity operators. His third skill has a good burst and range and it can attack up to 3 targets simultaneously. It has a long cooldown so M3 is recommended. His second module is insane when Hellagur is defeated. He does not retreat and instead recovers 30% HP. This can only activate once every deployment. It also increases the healing of his talent when not blocking enemies or when his HP falls below 30%. He sounds great on paper, but he suffers the same fate as Rosa, as you are not going to bring him in every stage. Even though he can hold some lanes decently, you are better off with a Juggernaut defender. And like Skadi, there are a lot of boss killers now. He is a great operator but not really needed, however he is still a strong operator. He goes to the A tier. Blaze. A great AoE guard with some survivability on her talents, which is great since you want her to be deployed early before medics to charge her second skill that has an unlimited duration. This skill gives her plus 35% defense and plus 100% attack at M3, allowing her to take down most enemies with ease and tank some damage at the same time, which is great because she will be blocking 3 enemies at the same time. And let's not forget the extended range that allows her to be behind another operator or access some tiles that are hard to reach. Overall, a reliable operator who is great at lane holding with a lot of damage and bulk. She goes to the S tier. This was my tier list for the 6-star kernel operators. I made it only in 3 tiers so it gives a broad understanding of how these operators fit in the meta and to help you decide whether you should get them or not. I hope you found this video helpful and subscribe if you like this kind of content. We are close to hitting 2,000 subscribers. See you in the next video.